On the bench tonight, I have this old vintage radio. It's actually made by Sears and Roebuck, and I'm not sure if Sears and Roebuck even exist any longer. I know there was a Sears locally, and that closed down. So I haven't seen Sears or Sears and Roebuck for quite a long time. But anyway, that's who made this, and I'm hoping I can restore it. Let's see, is there a model number? I don't see a model number anywhere. It's a Silvertone radio net, self-contained aerial system. Funny enough, when I picked this up, it had a television loop antenna attached to the two antenna terminals on the back here. Well, the antenna and the common ground connection. And so that was the first thing to go off that. So yeah, I don't see an actual model. Oh, wait a minute, there's something underneath here. Have a look what's underneath. See if it says, okay, yeah. Model number 7037, and there's a basic diagram underneath, a parts diagram, showing some of the tubes and other components that it has underneath here. I'll get a close-up of that for you. So anyway, that's the radio, and hopefully I can get it working and tidy it up a bit, maybe stain this case. Looks like it was, maybe it was sanded, I don't know. Because it's varnished at the front here, but all this at the side, it looks like there's no varnish. Unless it was intended to be like that, maybe. I know the person that owned it originally, well, before me, maybe not originally, but before me, said it was mainly just for show. And it looked like somebody's had something standing in the centre here, maybe a vase of flowers or a cup or something, I don't know. There's a bit of a mark on the centre there. The bezel here, I shouldn't say bezel, the dial here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this because it looks like it's discoloured. But maybe I can clean that up. Maybe when it's lit it won't look too bad, but right now you can hardly see through it. It's got some presets, although it is moving. I was going to say I don't see the pointer moving, but it is moving a little bit. Don't know what condition the dial cord is in. The knobs seem free, but maybe too free because I don't see any needle movement when I move any of the knobs here. So that's the next project, and I'm going to have a quick look now just to see what I'm up against. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the back off, and there's a lot of screws holding the back on. This cord doesn't look very safe. Looks like somebody joined it at some point with electrical tape. So I'll probably just replace that cord entirely. Alright, let's have a look what's going on here. Wood screws holding the back on. partially rusted wood screws. The heads are rusted. I don't know the history really of this, other than the lady that I bought it from advertised it. And when I went to look at it, I asked her a couple of questions about, was it working? And she plugged it in, and all it did was hum. So I suspect there's, you know, I suspect it hasn't worked in quite a while, and hopefully it's not been damaged by it being plugged in for any length of time, because who knows what, there's something rattling. Something rattling inside. I don't know. I don't know what's rattling inside, but something's rattling. There's another screws holding the back on. Okay, what wonders do we have inside? Oh, another screw. I missed one. Oh wow. Let's see what they mean about the self-contained antenna. I'll show you what they mean in a moment. Looks like, well, there's a switch on the back. It looks like for the loop and the built-in loop antenna, or an external antenna. I think I'm going to have to disconnect that, and then there's two other connections for the loop antenna. Let's take that off. Yeah, so it's this switch has to come off the back first. I don't know how well you can see this because it's not lit very well, but this is the loop and antenna switch. I'm going to remove. Can't even see very well myself. Okay, well, the switch is off, and now, what's that, an acorn? Wow, well, it's like all sorts of bits inside. So, down here, you can see how the loop antenna connects to the radio, and it's just a couple of little plugs here that plug in on either side of the loop antenna. And now I should be able to take this away, maybe feed the cord through here. We'll be able to see the loop antenna in a bit more detail in a moment. Okay, so there's the loop antenna in all its glory. And what have we got? How many loops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. There's about 10 turns of this fine wire forming the loop antenna. And here's the two connections, one down here and one here that plug this antenna into the radio, and that's glued to the back that I've just removed. And this is where the switch for the internal and external antenna was located, which I've just disconnected. So it's the back of the radio. So that's that. Let's put that to one side for a moment. So stand it up that way, I think. And it looks like well, that's an acorn. Okay, so somebody was going nuts over this radio apparently. Then there's, looks like corn. Looks like some sort of corn, I guess. Corn kernels. Maybe they like popcorn, or there was some mouse inside here making a nest. There's a lot of corn kernels. There's a lot of corn kernels. Wow. Some going underneath. Wow. I think there's even more. Wow. Get a dish here. Corn kernels and an acorn. Wow. There's even more. Let me see if I persuade him to come out. Oh wow, there's quite a lot more. So look at the contents of the radio. All the corn kernels and an acorn, a dead moth, some other bits of fluff, all inside the radio. So something was making its nest in there or storing its food in there. Well, it looks intact. It does look intact. And I can see what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tubes altogether. For best reception, always use recommended Silvertone antenna kit. Always retube with Silvertone tubes. Silvertone tubes and aerial kits are matched to Silvertone radios. Interesting. And that's the switch unit that was on the back of the radio. Well, it looks like it might come out of the case reasonably easily. There's another parts list and possibly a circuit diagram on the inside. But yeah, so what did we say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tubes. And I guess the smoothing capacitor is underneath the chassis somewhere, hiding. It's dusty. It doesn't look too rusty, but it is It is pretty dusty, and I don't see any signs of mouse droppings, which I would have expected to see. Let's get some light on the subject. Oh, there's more kernels. More corn kernels. I don't see any signs of actual, well, maybe. I was going to say I don't see any signs of mouse droppings, but maybe up the very corner. I wonder if the lady knew she had a resident mouse in her radio. And there's a lot more corn kernels. Yeah, a lot more corn kernels inside here. Oh, it looks like there was a label on that transformer at some point. Well, these tubes are very dusty. I don't know whether you can see that, but these tubes are pretty dusty inside here. So I guess I'm going to have to clean out the remaining corn kernels that are hiding up the corner, and then maybe drop the chassis out of the case and see what we see. Looks like they energized the speaker coil to magnetize it rather than using a permanent magnet. So yeah, the tuning cord is still connected. It's still routed where it's supposed to be routed. So yeah, interesting. I'm going to take the chassis out, I think, completely, and then see what I can see once I've got the chassis out of there. Looks like they have. It looks like the radio has plastic or Bakelite. That says tone. It says off. It's like 3 position. Off and something. Can't quite read what that says. Let's get some more light on the subject. Oh, off and volume. Volume, yeah, volume. But it only has 3 positions, which is weird. Strange. You would think it would be a rotary resistor, variable resistor or potentiometer, but it's just 3 position switch, and this one's labeled tone. And that's okay, so that goes from one limit to the other. This says tune, but it's not tuning anything. And what's this one say? Oh, shortwave something and BC. So that's the band change. So let's have a look. We've got, oh yeah, Silvertone. What have we got here? We've got 550 to 1700, AM. B tunes 1.7 meg to 6 meg AM, of course. And then C goes from 6 meg to 18 megs. So it's got a couple of shortwave bands on there as well as the broadcast AM band. So now I've got to get these knobs removed, which I don't think it's going to be very easy, but we'll see. I think for now I'm going to lay the radio on its back. Now whether you can see. Yeah, you can just about see that. Yeah, they're not going to come off very easily. I think the centers remove. I think they literally just pull off, but they are pretty tight. That one moved. Maybe I can persuade them. Maybe put some cloth underneath there. There's one. Okay, it's got a spring around the outside, but looks a little corroded, but that'll clean up hopefully. So that was the band switch that's come off. See if we can persuade the tuning knob to come off. Yeah, it's coming off. Okay, we got the tuning knob off. Okay, we've got tone next. They're pretty close to the wood. Oh, that's coming off. So that was the tone. And finally the volume. Because the volume's not going to come off easily. Why would it? Yeah, that's really tight. Oh, it's coming. I've got to be careful I don't break the knob. Because you can't see any of this either. Maybe you can see better now. Okay, we've finally got the volume knob off. Alright. Wasn't too painful. So that will free up the chassis from moving backwards. And then I'll have to see what else is inside here. It might need unscrewing the stuff so it floats. Oh, what we got now? We got dust and another kernel. And more kernels by the sound of it. Yeah, looks like that mouse was pretty busy doing whatever it was doing in there. Building a home. Well, I see. Well, that was woodworm. Oh no. That's where there's a, looks like a screw or a nail was in at some point. Yeah, so it looks like the 4 screws on the bottom here hold the chassis in place. Well, I say 4 screws, it looks like there's only 2, so it looks like this has been out at some point and somebody's been working on it. So let's put this down, face down for now, and let's get these screws out. Two fairly large screws holding the chassis in place. I think it can fall forwards because the tuning. Okay, so I'm going to put it back down on its base here. See if it will come out. Let's get a bit more light. Okay, so the speaker has a plug and socket arrangement down here, which you probably can't see. Anyway, there's a plug here, so I'm going to unplug the speaker and that will free up the chassis to move backwards. Oh, there's a screw on the top of that. I don't know whether the screw is just holding the plug together or whether it's screwed the plug in place. But it might actually hold the whole thing together. It's a bit strange. Well, it's not going to make any difference if I unscrew this screw, or loosen it at least. It's coming out slowly. think the screw's holding it in, but who knows. Take it out. No, it may well have been holding the plug down. Yeah, I think it may have been. Speaker plug's coming out now anyway. Slowly. Okay, so the speaker plug's out, and it's an octal. Strangely enough, that screw was holding the plug in place. I'm surprised they did that. I guess they must have had problems with the plug coming loose. But anyway, the speaker's now disconnected. So let's get the chassis out of here. Oh, we got a few moths, another couple of corn kernels. And a moth, dead moth. It's probably been in there a long time. Let's move this a little bit, see if anything else falls out. More corn kernels. 4 more corn kernels. Wow. Wow. This is pretty old. And it's going to need quite a bit of work doing on it. Quite a bit of component replacement on this. Looks like pretty much all original capacitors. We've got a waxy here, another waxy here, another one here. Not sure what's going on down here. So resistor in parallel with a capacitor. Another waxy down here. So I'm going to change all these wax capacitors out. I'm going to probably change all these seal tight capacitors as well. There's one up here, one here, one up here, another waxy. So yeah, plenty of work to do just on changing the capacitors out. Looks like this might have been the main smoothing capacitor, I'm not sure, but not sure if it's been changed or not. I'll have to well, I'm just going to change it anyway. Being electrolytic, it's well past its usable date, so that's going to be changed out as well. So pretty much all the capacitors in this radio are going to be taken out and changed. The resistors don't look too bad. This This is a screen cable here. Interestingly, got like a spring screen in it. This radio's been off a long time. I only had it, well, I didn't even plug it in. The previous owner had it plugged in to show me it working. Or show me it buzzing, I should say. That's about all it was doing, was buzzing. So I suspect all the capacitors are, well, definitely the main smoothing capacitor is on its last legs. Just looking at this, I don't see where it's going anywhere. Maybe it is. Okay. So, I guess I could check the tubes. I could check the tubes with my tube tester. That would give us a clue as to what's been going on. Although I suspect the tubes are actually not that bad, but the rest of the unit with all these capacitors going to need quite a bit of work. So that's that'll be the next job. But I think I will check the tubes while I'm here, because I may have some replacement tubes if necessary. If not, I might be able to order them and replace them that way.